Welcome to another exciting episode of the $1 Million Peddlers. I'm Paper Guy.
And I'm Mr. Magazine.
And it's the Hump Day Happy Hour Salute. And do you remember what we had? It was something we have had before and we were almost out of it.
Was it with an S?
Yeah, it was a 10-year scotch, and I forget what the heck it was.
There you go. Good enough.
It was not that good anymore.
No.
Here's the problem that happens. The bottles get opened and we don't finish them fast enough. And alcohol does start going bad after it's been up there for a little while. So it tastes less good as time goes on.
Makes sense.
So there we go. And I do want to thank last week's guest, Chuck, for being on. I do want to apologize to the chat. I know you guys were talking. If we saw a question, we did put it up. Otherwise, we wanted to focus on a chat. He was nice enough to, obviously, he was trying to run the business while being on. So he actually said one other thing that I thought was really, really good. After the show, I did say, hey, thanks for being on the show. And he said, oh, I loved it. He said, it was like sitting down with old friends. And that is absolutely the vibe that we try to give on the interview shows.
Yeah.
So I really like that. I'm definitely going to use that in the future when I try to woo other guests to come on. Because, again, we try to have a laid-back, fun little show, listen to what the guests say. So thank you, everybody in the chat, for being understanding about last week. This week, it's a free-for-all. It's all yours. Next week, we're going to have the consignment chat girls on, or women on. They're always a lot of fun as well. So next week's going to be a lot of fun. And they love the chat. So you guys can have at it next week. Take it away, Mr. Magazine. I'm not filibustering.
Fabulous flippins in the house. Number one out the box. How's it going? Awesome antiquarian. No, Dandy Don's here. Delightful Don's here.
Thank you for being a member. Yep. Thank you for being a member. Welcome to another exciting episode of $1 Million Peddlers. I'm Paper Guy.
Super C's in the house. How you doing?
Thank you for being a member.
Quadruple F's here, like always.
Thank you for being a member.
Marvelous Michael.
Thank you for being a member.
Amazing Adrian's in the house.
Thank you for being a member.
Awesome AJ's in the house.
You're jumping the gun there, AJ, but yes.
Marvelous Mr. Hot Wheels is here.
18 watchers, 2 thumbs up. It's 11%. There you go.
JZ Jeff. And Dandy Donald's here as well.
All righty. Well, we've already had AJ telling us how well his sales were. Why don't you take it away, and the rest of the chat, let us know how your sales were. Take it away.
It's almost like my customers knew I wasn't going to be around for a day or two. eBay was horrid.
You did say it here.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying it wasn't a secret.
Well,
it's not a state secret.
eBay was horrid Sunday and Monday. Amazon was okay. Website started picking up. It was bad Saturday, Sunday, then picked up Monday, Tuesday. DVDs are pretty steady. Whatnot's doing pretty well. Can't complain there. And that's about it. But the eBay was pretty bad. Hopefully we turn it around today.
It's not like you have any deals in the works where you need a lot of money. Dramatic foreshadowing.
Exactly.
Monday, Tuesday for some of my best in the last few weeks.
Wow. Very jealous. What were you selling? Maybe we can start selling some of the same things.
Well, he's not going to tell us if you say that.
Darn it.
So you're still putrid, but less putrid than last week. Well, things usually get more putrid as time goes along, so that's a positive. Yeah. So the postcard today for $82.99, set at 22, then sort at the end. Nice.
Good stuff. Yeah.
Very nice.
All right. Today's better. All right. I hope for me too.
Hello, all things cool and common. Welcome in. We'll be seeing you at the Allentown Paper Show, April 26th and 27th. If you're in the area, stop on by.
Marvelous Metal, how you doing?
Practically non-existent. Yep. Thank you for being a member.
Super Schmidt.
Hello, Schmidt. It's been slow, but I'm selling a lot of old items.
That's a good thing. The light at the end of the tunnel.
It's enraging how easily you can do math in your head. I'm sorry.
Lovely Linda, how you doing?
I did have that job for 33 and a half years. So what are you going to do? My sales have taken wait, what is that emoji? A chocolate chip. The sales have taken a chocolate chip. eBay steady, but not good.
I know you're going to tell us what your sales are.
That's kind of how the show works. I'm glad you finally figured it out after 4 years. It's not been good. eBay was down, but my excuse is having gone to that paper show over the weekend and then having gone with Mr. Magazine out to take a look at a collection. That was 3 days essentially of no sending offers out. Right. 3 days of just not being around, not listing new items. I mean, I do have the scheduled items going up, but I'm not listing anything new. So it was 3 days of that. So, when almost half your week, you're not really active on eBay like you usually are,
Right.
you're going to expect a bit of a dump,
Sure.
bit of a chocolate chip. eBay is good. So 2 mags for 250. Life Magic Mushroom. That's a good one. National Lampoon Killed His Dog.
Cool.
Spent 50 cents on them.
Wow.
There you go. Yep.
Good stuff.
Yeah, and actually, Colin Common did send me photos of both of them right after he picked them up. So good job on that one over there. Nice job on that. How about promoted were 24 out of 53. Whatnot is better.
Whatnot is better. I agree.
Offers 109 out of 295, which isn't bad with the travel.
Right.
332 last week, so we're down a little bit week on week. 173 a year ago, 211 2 years ago. So it's improving.
Yeah.
1 item on $1,000,000 Peddlers, 4 on Etsy, 2 on papergoy.com.
Nice.
Buys I'll talk about the one. Any other buys going on, Mr. Magazine?
I got my regular guy coming in with stuff. Like I said, he's 3 days a week, $100 every time. I got one of my good customers trying to sell me sports cards, and he wanted thousands and thousands, and now he wants less. But it's just not a good time to do long tail on sports cards. So I'm going to hold off because I got these other high profit deals in the works right now.
Potentially,
yeah.
Yep. So I went over to Ephemera Fair, and those of you behind the paywall have already seen a mini haul video out of it. We will be posting one. Random Neighborhood Kid is coming by Saturday. I got to do his taxes. So lucky him, he gets free tax service for putting up the videos. Nice. I got to finish my taxes as well. They're 2/3 of the way done. Just got to get those all done. Got a couple of Whatnot auctions this weekend, but I'm going to say, wow. Wow is absolutely what I would say. And I think I talked to you a little bit about the Ephemera Fair. As I told the people behind the paywall, it humbles you. It would be, Mr. Magazine, like you're a pretty big deal in the card world in Rochester, and then you go to the National.
Right, exactly.
And you're like,
oh, I've had that feeling before. Yeah.
What? These guys have cards I've never seen before, and they've got 20 of them?
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome, PSCN Creations. We'll be on the show in the future. We just got to work out a date. We're looking at some May dates, and PSCN says we are. We're looking at some May dates for that. Great guest. Do check out that video if you haven't seen it before. And we are negotiating to be on her channel as well. At this point, our negotiation is please. But that show was unbelievable in the stuff that you saw there. You would go to somebody's table and you would be like, oh my gosh, that is one of a kind. I've never seen anything like that before. And then next item next to it's even better. And it was item after item. I'll give you the perfect example. I think I mentioned this behind the paywall. Somebody had their boxes out and they had their cases, and the good stuff was in the cases. First item in one of the boxes was a cabinet card of Geronimo. And I pick it up. I go, this is pretty cool. I like the way this looks. Oh, wonder if it's priced in the back. I look in the back, $950. Just first item in some random box that they're not paying any attention to. I'm like, yeah, when your $950 item is in your common box,
yeah, that's their sale box. Yeah, the junk box.
You've got some pretty good stuff when a $950 photo was in your common box.
I have to assume there wasn't a lot of deals there then, obviously. Like really good deals. You're not going to steal anything because they're all, big.
They're all professionals. The deals I think would have been from dealer to dealer, and me knowing that you collected this and saying, Chuck, you collect this, or Mr. Magazine, you collect this. Do you have any interest at all in this? Well, hello, Steve.
How's it going?
Do you have any interest at all in this? The guy's got it marked at 500. Can you give me 5 1/4? And then I get it from the guy for 450. I think those are the deals.
Sure.
That being said, I did spend $790. 3 dealers. I bought from 3 different dealers. You'll be seeing the stuff in the haul video as to what it was that I bought. But literally only 3 dealers. Most shows I go to, I go around and I'll pick 3 items off your table and 2 items off this guy's table. That was none of that going on. It was bulk lot from 3 different dealers.
Well, if you did it, you would have spent tens of thousands of dollars probably.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it was bulk lots off of 3 different dealers. One of the lots that I bought was from the 1990s, early 2000s. I gave Mr. Magazine a few things to sell out of it. Because my thought was, who else at the show is buying something from 1990? they're there from 1790.
Yeah.
So I'll be the guy buying the 1990 stuff. So a little bit of a tip to you, something other to do when you do go to a show like that. Look for the things that aren't within the scope of the show. We did end up going, Mr. Magazine, his manager, and I did go over to the Philadelphia area to take a look at a collection. Not going to tell you a lot about it at this moment. It is in the six figures, we'll say that. And we'll say we have a deal in principle at this point. A lot of autographs, a lot of things like that, a lot of neat stuff. What we are doing at this point is making sure that we got all of our ducks in a row with contract and money and various, sales tax exemption because we're an out-of-state dealer, yada, yada, yada. All that stuff is getting put in place. We have a date tentatively to go back down. You've got to get, and we're going to talk about this in the future as well, staples for banker boxes, renting vehicles, all that kind of stuff, getting the manpower set up to be able to move everything. All the plans are going to be put in place. Everything is moving. Everything is moving very, very nicely. Been a couple of very, very small bumps in the road. Nothing big whatsoever. We're going to wait till it's actually sitting in our possession, and then we'll talk a little more about it. Just
yeah,
to let
and
you
we
know.
were talking about it in the car ride, probably the biggest deal I've had yet.
Yeah, well, no doubt. Yeah.
Well, to put it in perspective, that deal's coming up. And the same day we were driving out there, Aaron was in Portland, Oregon with an 18-wheeler loading up 500 boxes of movies and magazines. And Friday, that 18-wheeler will be at my warehouse unloading that, and we had to make room for all that jazz. But one big deal after another, it's kind of crazy. And we got more lined up in the works in Ohio and another friend of ours locally. Yep. So a lot of, tens of $1,000 deals coming up,
Yeah. So we are going to be looking at a couple of collections in Ohio in a few weeks. And here's the funny thing about it. One of the people we were looking at, is there any way we can change the date? And I said, not really. We were kind of booked in. We're doing other things while we're there. So he changed his plans a little bit to, so we're going to be leaving earlier than we thought on Friday to go see him. Well, so then we were trying to figure out, flipping things around. All of a sudden I got an email for a paper show in Akron. And I know Mr. Magazine has some family commitments in the afternoon of that Saturday, early evening, late afternoon. But I said, is there any way we can hit this paper show? So we'll be hitting a paper show in Akron as well. I'll try to do a haul video from that also. The only problem I've ever had going to shows with Mr. Magazine before is the fact that Mr. Magazine basically likes to drive by on the highway at about 75 miles an hour going, nope, there's nothing there. And meanwhile, I like to look at all the tables. So we're going to try to slow him down a little bit.
That's how I shop with my wife. I'm done in 5 minutes, and I got to sit there, and I'm on my phone for 25 more minutes.
We're going to try to slow him down a little bit.
It's good exercise.
Mr. Magazine may not have noticed this, but I'm a bit of a chatter. And I'm going to be handing my business card out, hoping to make some connections over in Ohio as well. And who absolutely knows who might pan out for us at some point as well.
I guess I should give you some of mine and slip 2 in there.
There you go.
Because we need more deals, right?
Oh, wow. You can't say that word anymore, huh? Now we know.
Wow.
There you go.
What's this world coming to?
Ooh, very nice. Very, very nice.
Good stuff.
One last thing, if I could have a moment, because it is going to be a shorter show today, because being out of town, I didn't make very many notes. Traveling with Mr. Magazine can be a little bit interesting. We ended up sharing a room, Mr. Magazine, his manager, and I. And Mr. Magazine and I have traveled together before, so it was no big deal. We shared a bed, and the manager had his own bed over there.
I don't know where he's going with this, but I can't wait.
Mr. Magazine likes to fall asleep with the TV on. I don't like any noise whatsoever. Mr. Magazine likes to have lights on. I like pitch black.
I do like a little light on.
Mr. Magazine likes doors wide open. I like them closed. Mr. Magazine likes to pile blanket after blanket after blanket on top of him. I like to have one thin sheet. Mr. Magazine likes to turn over and take that thin sheet away from me. Like, you ever see the magicians when they've got the plates and everything on a table.
Yeah.
Mr. Magazine was basically doing that to me all night, pulling the tablecloth out and taking the sheet away from me. And then every time he turned over, he threw half of his blankets on me. So I'm like, I don't want your stupid blankets. I just want mine. So half the night I laid there like this with my blanket holding on to it. And I'm going to say, I'm not certain what Mr. Magazine's diet is, but let's say that, yeah, I think you can figure out where I'm
you
going
would think
with
that I ate at Taco Bell 24/7.
One would think so. Yes.
I blame it on vitamins.
Yeah, that must be it. That must be it.
The Odd Couple. We make a good Odd Couple. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the remake.
And then the manager, according to Mr. Magazine, what did you describe his sleep pattern?
Wow, and he's average height and weight, build. Yep. So I have my barber friend. We know about him. He's short and stocky, and my Syracuse football friend, who's 6'4", 300 pounds, and they both snore and have sleep apnea. Nothing compared to my manager. I thought I was watching a live version of The Lion King, and I actually said sounds like a lion in the middle of the night, and he woke up, heard it, and laughed, and went back to sleep snoring. And I thought you said it wasn't that bad.
And here's the funniest thing about it. I've traveled with a lot of dudes. It would be, I didn't even hear his snoring.
Wow, it was so loud.
You couldn't even hear this guy snoring compared to the other people that I've traveled with. So it's crazy.
Well, luckily, when we go back to pick up the collection, we're all going and we're adding Aaron to the mix. But we're not sleeping this time. We're going very early because if I got to bring a lot of cash with me, I don't want to lose it. We're going to load up and drive straight home because I don't want to park the truck in a hotel and risk getting it stolen. So driving, paying cash, loading up, driving home, no problems.
And
easy peasy.
I would agree with that. And thank you. Thank you. So yeah, if you have the opportunity to go on a trip with Mr. Magazine, bring your own blanket.
That's what my wife does to me. How's it feel?
Not nice. Not nice. Glitch of the week. eBay was sending out emails that returns were closed. So you may have gotten an email that said, oh, that return has been closed. And it wasn't. They're doing the April Fool's joke just a little bit earlier. I think they sent out a follow-up one that said, you just got pranked, bro. I'm not
Speaking of April Fool's, that's when we're going on this collection. Could you imagine we finalize all this, send a down payment, we get there, and it's April Fool's?
I was actually thinking that as well.
Yeah. Some people wouldn't do it because they're like superstitious on that stuff. Yeah.
Oh, I do want to thank Penguin Boss and Schmidt Auctions as well. This is the second time that Mr. Magazine has chosen a date when I had Shopaholic set up in order to work on this deal. So this is the second time that I have had to cancel Shopaholic. I do apologize to you. Blame it on the rain. Blame it on him. It matters not. Okay.
Real quickly, why we made it the 1st of April, which is Tuesday. That Monday the 31st, I am getting a shot from the anesthesiologist
in the head,
my hip because my hip has been bothering me. I don't need the surgery yet, but I think it's the arthritis and stuff going on. So I figured I'll be more helpful. Load, not that it's a lot. It's a full room of 500 plus binders and some heavy tubs, but my work will be limited, but I'll feel better going up and down the stairs. And obviously Aaron hurt his leg. He can't help out too much, but he can sit there and build 100 banker boxes. So how's that sound?
And in his sleep, Mr. Magazine talks and he says, screw you, Penguin Boss, screw you, Schmidt Auctions. I hope I messed up Shopaholic. I think I heard that. I think I heard that. I believe that I did. There were some problems over the weekend on eBay where people that used ad blocker were having a lot of trouble shopping on there. So if you had problems over the weekend, who knows how many of our customers may have had that same problem as well. We had a problem last week. Mr. Magazine actually stopped by right when I was handling the problem. Needed to upload the driver, so we wouldn't have had the nice picture of the Rhino last week. Again, thank you to Chet from Rhino's Comics. Do check him out if you haven't already. So Random Neighborhood Kid was walking me through how to update the driver properly and everything. So shout out to Random Neighborhood Kid. I'll do your taxes this weekend. You're welcome. We've got item of the week. I believe you have something.
I whipped up something that I found when I was in the pod. So I have 3 pods in a sea container full of inventory, and this one pod closest to the warehouse is like, I'm going to call it my crappy pod. So stuff from the Geneva deal, which Avon bottles and plates, and I don't know what was in there. So we started going through it. I'm like, I got to throw stuff out. We rented a big dumpster. I needed to make room. So I started throwing out records that I just knew were crappy condition, never going to sell, or will never sell because we just keep getting better stuff or whatever.
Wait, you mean the moldy Sergio Mendez?
There you go. How'd you know?
66?
So anyways, in this pod, we found actually lots of high quality Playboys from the 60s and 70s, which, they're sellable. We got a ton of them, but we brought those in to make room for car magazines going in the pod. We're keeping some of the unopened Avon boxes and, bottles. And then a lot of these plates were like Disney plates. So, they're not worth throwing out. So we really found very minimal stuff to throw out, but we made a lot of room, restack things. And now we have a ton of room on the shelf for boxes if we need them from the 500 box deal coming in. But however, in the pod, I found a couple boxes of CEDs, which were laser discs before laser discs. And here's one that's going into my collection. It is a Star Wars. Wow, this is cool.
I like this. You disappeared.
Wow.
I'm going to keep that here all the time.
This is the worst. How about? Oh, there you go. Anyways, right. CEDs were made, I think, by RCA, and they came out before Laserdisc, and I think they were available during Laserdisc times. And they did away with them because Laserdiscs were more popular. But anyways, this goes for about $50. People buy these still. Don't throw them out because of the artwork on the covers and so forth. And there's other popular ones. A lot of sci-fi horror sell for $25 to $50, and there's probably some rare ones that never made it to Laserdisc or DVDs. Yeah. So, but if you see them out there, even for $1 a piece, you can sell them for $5 to $10 on eBay. I did throw some out that were just very common. So my 2 boxes, I got down to 1 box. I saved better stuff in there that will sell at some point. But they are collectible. So
maybe should have done a whatnot auction of them.
I probably should have. Again, I was in throw-out mode. I had this gigantic container that was twice as big as I thought it would be, and I wanted to fill it. We filled it with pallets and extra tubs and stuff that we couldn't sell. So there you go.
How do you come up with the price on something that is not listed anywhere?
Well, if it's me, I would say, what do I think with my 20 years of buying this and that and seeing a lot of stuff? What would someone pay for this? And a lot of times, if it's a magazine or ephemera, I would even, my employees say the same thing. How do you know what that's worth? I go, I don't know. I just feel like this is something someone would pay $20 for, or 25 or 30 or 50. And we usually do like a 16, 26, and then 49 or 55 and 59. So that's my take on it. If it's not on Terapeak and so forth.
Right,
but how about you?
I'm glad you asked. You just know. I mean, honestly, you just know. You've just been doing it long enough, seen enough similar things, or a lot of times you haven't seen it before. You haven't seen something like this before. And if it's something that should be common and it's not, then you're saying, well, wait a minute, how come I've never seen this before? Right. It's got to be up a little bit.
Yeah. Well, and if it's rare, it's going to find this price. If it's not rare and you pay $2 and you're happy with 20, you're happy with 20. You don't care what it's going to sell for. Right. And if it's worth 10, they'll make you a $10 offer. Once it goes into auction, and you're still happy and making money.
Insulting offer of the week. I had a January 1910 Literary Digest. I was asking, well, there you go. That works too. I was asking $24.24 on. I got an $8 offer. I decided to counter at $15. I got an $8 offer. Guess what happens at that point, Mr. Magazine?
Well, the hammer comes out.
Indeed. You get hammered for that. I had bicycle magazines from turn of the century. I had one up for $32. No, these weren't turn of the century. There's 1950s. Sorry, wrong ones. But 1950s and 60s.
Yeah.
$32. I've never seen this title before. He offers 10. Then I've got one I'm asking $62 on because it has Tuesday Weld in it.
Yeah.
So it's a good book, I think. He offers 10, but then says I can double dip on the shipping. I don't even have to combine shipping for him. Whoa. So your offer is $15 instead of 10. I'm like, we're not even close, sir.
I mean, I would say they do make new bicycle magazines nowadays, and they're $10.
Yeah. They don't have Tuesday Weld in them.
Exactly. Speaking of her, she has a binder at the collection we looked at.
Oh, nice. And then, and Jackie Jack, are you doing your show tonight? Jackie Jack does a show over on Whatnot. Postcards, great deals. Check out Whatnot afterwards. That's Jackie Jack.
Very cool.
Not a paid promotion, but could be, should he ever cough up any money. Dylan Holloway, Future Watch Auto Card Hockey, $62.12. They offered you $7 on a $62 card.
And I'm thinking, and I wasn't even going to research comps because I know comps would never be that low. Like say we listed a year or two ago, or even during COVID, it would still be $30, 25 now. So like, forget about it.
Well, the thing I laugh about is a lot of times you'll get these offers and they'll say, you've only got one watcher. This has 6 watchers. So, you know, but it did say only. You only have 6 watchers. I'm like, when does the word only disappear? Or could it be,
Yeah.
could you put something good up
Yeah.
and it's like,
Is it
you
10? Is
only
it
have
20?
32,000 watchers. Oh, that's it?
That'd be cool.
That's it. Countdown to Brimfield.
Oh, here we go. We know what's coming, everyone. Go ahead.
I did buy more than I sold this past week between eBay being bad and between me going to the show. So I'm going to say that, and I think that Brimfield actually is the same weekend that I'll be in Springfield. So I don't think Brimfield will work, but we are shooting for the fall Brimfield. What comes up next, Mr. Magazine?
Corn fuchsias.
You didn't say that like you're looking forward to it. I guarantee this week's joke is going to.
You know, I hate when you ask me to get it. You get it or explain it. No, I whether I get it or not, I don't want to get it or explain it.
I'm sure this week's joke is going to be hilarious. It's time for the Confucius Joke of the Week. So an airline stewardess, you've flown before, right, Mr. Magazine?
Yeah.
So an airline stewardess for Mr. Magazine.
Exactly.
So let me start again. An airline stewardess. She was on a transatlantic flight.
Yeah.
Okay. So picture this: an airline stewardess on a transatlantic flight. Okay. She became so angry with a couple of noisy children, she made them go outside and play. Because they're on an airplane.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So she made them go outside and play because they were
Yeah.
bad children. Oh, an airline stewardess on a transatlantic flight became so angry with a couple of noisy children, she made them go outside and play.
You know, you should get a snare drum and drumsticks, and you can do it. Da-da-dum. You know, that'd be good.
Go outside and play.
Yeah.
And that was the Confucius joke.
I'd like to
of the
go
week.
outside and play in traffic right about now. Hopefully, they sideswipe my ears.
And that was the Confucius joke of the week. Do check out all my auctions 20 past the hour. You'll get another one of those jokes. Customer issues. But it's the funny side of Murder Dawn. It's the funny side.
Mm-hmm.
Making murder funny. Mr. Magazine had a customer. They paid $10.74 for an item, and they agreed on a 50% refund. So I gave half of $10.74. I gave a $5.37 refund. He starts yelling he's supposed to get $10. I said to Mr. Magazine,
Oh, because of the shipping?
I said, what should I do? Mr. Magazine said, give him the refund. It's not worth It's not worth it. So I did give him a $10 refund, and then I blocked him and made a little note. Half of 1074 is 537. If we had more customers who thought half of it were 10, we would go bankrupt.
Yeah.
It's not like we get a refund from the postal service. We shipped it to you. And he's now blocked.
Getting back to Confucius, I bet if Homer and Jethro were still alive, they would come onto our show. I bet you could get them to come onto their show. Their only fan on the planet. Think about that.
We've got a lot of fans here.
Of us, not Homer and Jethro. Or you're Homer and Jethro.
I may be
Jethro's
their
fan.
biggest
I'm
fan.
stuttering. I can't take it.
Actually, between you and me,
Yeah.
I've got Homer tied upstairs,
Yeah.
and I'm his biggest fan.
Give me a new one.
I'm
And
his
you can
biggest fan. Thank you, Radio Park Mike. Do appreciate that. And if you could hit the like button. I ended up ban-hammering another person, Mr. Magazine.
Of mine?
Of mine.
Okay.
Because they bought an item by mistake.
Mm-hmm.
They watched the item. I sent them an offer. They sent me a counter offer. I accepted the counter offer.
Okay.
They paid. And then they immediately canceled it because they bought it by mistake. And that was twice that happened last week. I said, really? You go through all that trouble to buy by mistake? Well, two different people had that happen.
Yeah,
two different people.
It is a lot of work.
Yeah. Per Etsy, their dashboard, I now am at 600 sales.
Wow.
So can't argue with that. Very happy with that.
Hmm.
Did you see about what's going up for auction, Mr. Magazine?
You're going to tell us.
I will. You understand how the show works.
Is it invisible art or another fruit?
That would just be ridiculous.
Oh, okay.
And it's not handwritten Confucius jokes, but should that go up? No, it's a Chewbacca bowcaster.
Ooh.
Used in a movie.
Jeez.
And the medal that Luke got.
Ooh, Medal of Yavin.
Yeah, that thing. They're both expected to go for $500,000 each.
Wow, that's awesome. That is awesome stuff.
I guess because it's
the
iconic.
Yavin should go for more, but yeah, is the Bowcaster from A New Hope?
No, they're whatever the first movie was.
Yeah, New Hope.
Oh, okay.
Episode
How
4.
would I know that? No. You know why I don't know that? Because I'm not a new dope. If you're a new dope, you know all the Star Trek or Star Wars names. I don't even know if it's Star Trek or what.
We were in a hotel yesterday morning.
Yeah. Indeed we were.
Yeah.
Indeed we were. So I listed a Good Housekeeping September 1998. Here's my listing. Good Housekeeping September 1998. Meryl Streep, Princess Diana. Okay. What do you think the genre that eBay item specifics suggested?
Art.
Cartoon. What in there is because the only thing I can come up with is because of the word princess, that it ties princess back to the Disney princess.
But any princess, what if it's Princess Leia or Princess Caroline?
Yeah, I don't know.
Princess Diana.
Yeah, they tied it back to telling me to list it as a cartoon. Marvel is being kicked off. If you have items on Amazon Marvel, I have 832 items that need approval to sell. So they have kicked 832 of mine off. You probably need to check how many you have, Mr. Magazine.
They're kicking off Playboys now too.
For why?
They don't want you to listen to Playboys, I guess. It's getting worse and worse. It used to be a few, now it's 20-30% that we put on. Yeah.
Wow. But you were saying you were running out of stock for whatnot. If I'm sitting with 832, how many are you sitting at? It kicked off.
Yeah.
4,000.
Yeah, I've got to check. Yeah.
So yeah, you definitely want to check that.
I'll ask my IT guy and see what usually he keeps us in the loop on that because he does a dead stock report. So I'll have him update and see what we got.
Yeah. Yep. So there you go.
It's crazy. Well, and then guess where those are going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Getting back to Homer and Jethro. Now, I don't know what your lifespan of these jokes and when you're going to run out of them. If we do this till we're like 90,
let's hope they have a second. Let's hope they have a second issue somewhere.
But I have a backup plan.
Don't you
have the original collection of Red Skelton jokes? Or maybe throw them in, mix it up a little bit or something.
I do have Red Skelton jokes. Years and years ago, I did buy the Red Skelton archives, and I do have Red Skelton jokes. So at some point, we just pull one of those out and read them.
And I feel the longer you wait to sell that, the less you're going to get for that. As cool as it is, you're just going to have less people interested in like 20 years. They're all going to be dead. Anyone interested, dead. Just like stamps, dead.
If anyone is interested in doing a Red Skelton tribute act, reach out to me. We can talk.
Oh, we got to do that because I have one of my assistant managers, a comedian. And we can go up there like open mic night and start rattling those off.
And read them off those things.
Not enough time in a day.
That is true. Absolutely true. All right. Believe it or not, we are into the main topic. I knew this would be a short show this week.
Okay.
The main topic today, Mr. Magazine, we made our bed as resellers and we have to sleep in it.
I really made my bed because I've been wanting to scale down. And, like years after COVID, I wanted to scale down, and just because the employee issues and the inventory, and now between Whatnot and these huge deals and these connections we're making and Aaron driving all over the country, I'm in too deep to sleep in any smaller bed at this point. I am stuck now, big time. I'm so far stuck that I either have to get another sea container and a variance and a survey and a permit behind my warehouse, or I have to get another warehouse at some point, certainly by 2026. I mean, we're going to do the best we can. I could keep throwing stuff out, which I don't really want to do, but I mean, these deals coming up, I don't know where I'm going to put them half the time. So my backup plan is I'd have to get a storage unit short term, but we'll see what happens. But again, I'm in too deep now, and now I need to hire more employees to list. And we're losing a good one today. He put his 2 weeks in 2 weeks ago. He did a lot of eBay action figures and stuff and comics, and he was a customer of Chet, so we're going to miss him. But right now we're going to keep it, where we're at. And then once I get back from my trip in April, got to hire a Whatnot person, maybe another assistant manager, and definitely another lister. I mean, we just have no choice. Too much. I can't keep buying this stuff. Just like you, we're buying this stuff and not going backwards, but I don't see how we're going to get it all on because better stuff's coming in. And then the cheaper stuff obviously is taking a back seat, which is great. But now the cheaper stuff is going to be Whatnot, lots, and break up lots, put them on Whatnot, $10, $20 items for $3, $4, $5. And it is what it is. But right now, I think we're at 30 hours of Whatnot a week. I want to double that, when I get back in April between my 3, Whatnot people. So, and don't hold your breath, but I think at some point in May, I might start doing some Whatnots myself, like an hour here, an hour there.
Whoa.
And I'm thinking, Batman, Spider-Man, Star Wars stuff that is hanging around or at the warehouse or stuff in my collection that I don't care much about, loose stuff and trinkety stuff. And, we'll see where that goes. But I don't think I have a choice. Plus, these deals coming up is costing me hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I'm never going to get that back anytime soon. So obviously, Whatnot can help with the short-term financial burden. Yeah. So
cover the bills today. Yep. Absolutely.
So, but I don't know if that answered your question, but I'm certainly in too deep.
Absolutely.
That's funny. It's funny. I have a lot of friends that sometimes I go to, like, hey, you got, quick 10,000 I need for this deal or that deal. And luckily the smaller deals I've been covering myself lately, which is great. And they think I'm nuts. My wife thinks I'm nuts. Quit buying. But why am I in business if I'm going to turn down deals that are
good,
customized for me?
Yeah.
Like the Portland deal. Yeah, it's 500 boxes. It's 40,000 items, but I'm literally getting them pennies on a dollar. And that deal is probably retail wise $1 million deal, value retail. And I'm really getting that for pennies on the dollar. This was a score from a connection in San Francisco. I think I mentioned before, I had to pay him $2,000 for the phone call because he was going to score the deal and probably flip it to me for $50,000. I'm getting it for 15, but I had to give him 2,000 plus a finder's fee. I saved 5,000 because buys a lot on the trailer going, an 18-wheeler going out to Oregon, so that helped out. And then you got Aaron in it. So you can't get a better deal than this. And if I turn this down, the guy's probably going to throw it out. I can't see anyone else having the money, the time, the space, and the employees for it. But again, we made room, and then this deal in New Jersey. If I don't buy these things, what am I doing in business? So now I cut back on the small, low profit deals, so to speak, for now. But again, I'm not going to quit. I'd like to. I'm not going to quit though.
Absolutely.
And I know you're going to give us a good answer for yourself.
Oh, thank you. I do appreciate that confidence.
Exactly. Yep.
I'm the size that I am, as far as my business. I could hire employees. I could get a warehouse. I could go that route. I recently had a birthday. I'm 56. I don't want to start over again.
And thank you for spending it driving in a car all day.
Yeah,
for one beer or 2 beers.
That's right. I did one beer. Yeah, absolutely. And a salad. Getting old sucks.
Yeah.
The old days.
I ate one the next day too.
I did have a salad both days and oatmeal for breakfast. But I'm the size that I am, and I'm not going to go the route with employees and all that, because let's say that I wanted to go that route. By the time that all took seed, what would I be? 65?
Yeah.
Because it's not like I could hire 2 employees, get a warehouse, and it would all be clicking next week.
Right.
By the time I worked all the kinks, found some good employees, I'd be ready to retire anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm the size that I am on that, and I sell the stuff that I do. I'm not going to be selling Fiestaware next week. I'm not going to be a record dealer next week. Yeah. I am selling what I'm selling, and I think that I came to this realization. Nice. I think I came to this realization when I went to that paper show, and that's the reason why I wanted to talk about this topic. If I went and I was talking to Old Timer, yeah, that would help.
Yep.
Talking to Old Timer, and I said, no disrespect to him, he doesn't know comics or cards. I said, if tomorrow he suddenly were handed Mile High Comics, he'd be in over his skis.
Oh, God.
And nothing against him. He's just not a comics guy.
Yeah.
I said, and if I were walking through that ephemera show and the biggest dealer at that show, biggest New York City dealer, biggest dealer in the country, was having a meltdown and just said, I'm sick of all this, and looked at me and goes, you, give me $10. You got $10? Yeah. You own the business. And he walked away. I wouldn't. Hello, Midwest Picker. You'll be on the show sometime soon. And I got the date over there. But I wouldn't know what to do. I could sell this to somebody for $200 because the price on it's $200.
Right.
But even having done ephemera for 25 years, I wouldn't know why necessarily it was worth $200 or $500.
Yeah.
Same thing if you suddenly took over Mile High, you've been around comics, but you get one of those big dealers that's into all that old stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the Canadian price variant with, and
what
you're
is
going,
before
what?
the golden age, the
platinum age stuff.
Yeah, like I don't know any of that.
Yeah. Yep. And we're too old to change. Those people at that show, I guarantee you a couple of those dealers have been doing ephemera longer than I've been alive. They know it. They know it inside and out.
Yeah.
I will never know it that well. I could spend, 18 hours a day for the rest of my life trying to learn it, and I'm not going to know what they have because of the experience that they have.
Well, and here's another thing we talk about too with me, and proportionally, it's the same with you. I think in COVID, I spent $1 million 1 year in inventory.
Yes, you did.
Then the next year, 800,000, and I think last year $500,000. But getting more bang for my buck because I'm buying smarter. I'm finding these huge deals, and I asked paper, I go, imagine if I spent nothing. So this year we're trying to pace for $1 million again, the way we were going, and my wife says quit. People says quit buying. Okay, 2026, I'm going to buy nothing, and all the $1 million, all the expensive stuff we're going to list on our sales are going to go up 50% in our sales. Now I'm owing the IRS hundreds of $250,000 compared to 80 to 100,000. So like it's a good thing for business inventory. It's a good thing for your taxes.
As long as you're buying right, which we are, exactly, which we generally are.
And we're definitely buying smarter, getting better, bigger deals that no one in the country want to touch, honestly. So.
And even take that Akron show with a few baseball cards 30 years ago, and I have a house and 2-car garage full of stuff. Yep, absolutely. But if you gave us a call, Mr. Hot Wheels, and we're giving you 10 cents on the dollar, that's just what happens in a bulk deal. That's just what you get in a bulk deal, generally speaking. Maybe a little bit more dependent. Your best of your best stuff, you'll be able to sell somewhere else. We're all just in it too deep. I may have $1 million, $1.5 million worth of inventory listed and unlisted. Ain't nobody giving me $1.5 million for it. Right. Nobody giving that to me. Just not happening. So we're where we are, and I guess don't want to be negative about it. I think we make the best out of it. I think that's absolutely what you need to do, is make the best out of it. We try to be a positive show, but I did have that realization. It's like, I'm too old to start new. I'm too old to reinvent the wheel. Yeah. I know the items that I know. I'm not going to suddenly become Popeye's postcards.
And we enjoy it too. We hated it. Some people, maybe they're forced in it. They don't like it or enjoy it. I enjoy it. I don't like some of the business aspects with the employees and the headaches I get from some of that stuff, but it goes with the territory. It's like that everywhere you go. So
nothing against Popeyes. He does a great job. He knows postcards a heck of a lot better than I do. And I'm just not going to learn postcards that well. Or any of these other things that these other people don't know. I know the areas that I know. I have the expertise that I know. I know postcards well enough that I know a lot of times a better one versus a not good one. But I'm not going that deep into it. I'm not.
And that's Midwest. That's like us 20 years ago. Same thing with auctions, estate sales.
I generally don't walk out of an estate sale with nothing. But what am I buying? I'm buying a $2 book that I can sell for $20. I'm here. I can turn $2 into $20. Sure. I think Midwest, I think the key that I do is I'm trying not to go to those estate sales if it doesn't look like they're going to be promising, other than I told a couple of weeks ago about the estate sale literally on the next street. I'm always going to that estate sale. Yep. It's on the next street. But, I was looking at the estate sales this week and I'm not seeing anything. Oh, speaking of estate sales, hold on a minute. Large warehouse full of stuff and working with a girl was so eager to learn. Very good. If there is anybody, and I got to give a shout out to a buddy of mine, I've turned him onto a bunch of estate sales. Hey, you need to go to this one. You need to go to this one. He turned me onto an estate sale. If you are anywhere near the Chicago area, and I was looking at the estate sale listing for Chicago, they have a crap ton of estate sales all the time. April 1st, I think it's that weekend, right around, or not April 1st, April 4th, April 3rd, 4th, whatever that weekend is. Now, I'm going to be down in Myrtle Beach meeting with Mr. Bislot, so I cannot go. It actually looked good enough that I would think about going to Chicago. If you're a book dealer, do a search on Chicago on estatesales.net. You'll see the one that I'm talking about. It's a crazy book sale, warehouse full of books for sale. So definitely worth going to if you are anywhere near the Chicago area. Just throw that out to anybody in the Midwest. I would go to it, except I'm already going somewhere else. No, antiquarian. No. You've totally, let's restart the show. But yeah, no, do check that sale out if you're anywhere in the Midwest, or reach out to me and I'll send you the link to it. But yeah, we're where we are. Embrace it. Make the best out of it. Some days are good, some days aren't so good, but you've got a lot of knowledge there. You've got you've got your contacts. Whoever's watching this has their contacts, and so on. Just make the best out of it, and you'll do well. And again, like Midwest said, you don't have to buy something everywhere. Be willing to walk away from a deal. Be willing to walk into a sale and out of a sale. Having backlog of inventory is always worthwhile in that aspect. And I can't wait to next week when we have consignment chats on, because they love hearing about the big deals that we do.
Yeah.
They're just amazed by them, because if they have a tote of backlog.
Portland and New Jersey is just crazy. Yeah.
But all right, time for the rambling story of the week.
Two things before we get into the rambling story. One, I have one next time. I don't want to forget. We should discuss my wife's car situation.
Okay, car. So everybody remember wife's car.
And then I think you should tell them real quickly a business rambling story. What did you and I do today? You wrote it down.
Oh, I did write it down. I forgot to do it. So I pulled into Mr. Magazine's store this morning, and bless that 4 small thrift my books are dirt cheap. $1. Cool. Wow, that is dirt cheap.
Yeah.
I pulled into Mr. Magazine, and his parking is a little limited between a pod and between a dumpster. So to start with, it's a little bit limited.
It's a big parking lot, but we got 6-7 cars from employees, so it does get packed.
Right. So I had to park behind him, and I walked in and I said, Mr. Magazine, you're not going to listen to me because you never do, but I've got a crazy idea for you. I said, remember the rambling story that you gave a couple of weeks ago about your plower and how you had to hire the plower or hire his buddy to move all the snow because they had moved everything to block the sidewalk? Well, it all got piled in the parking lot. Well, now all the snow is melted. Well, apparently when the gentleman was moving the snow, he wasn't just moving snow. He was moving giant clumps of sod. So there was this mountain in this parking spot. And I said, you might want to move that so that you can actually utilize that parking spot, because nobody wants to park on top of a mountain. So Mr. Magazine says, who am I going to get to do it? Who wants to do that?
The one guy that would do it, no questions asked, wasn't working today. And my older puller, he's a little ornery when it comes to, like, he's the guy we always ask to do these odd jobs, so like, I don't know who to ask. And we said it in front of him, and he didn't offer. So
I said, fine, I'll do it. Do you have a shovel? And Mr. Magazine's like, what? I go, I'll do it. You got a shovel? I'll do it. I mean, no big deal. Well, Mr. Magazine has a plastic snow shovel. So,
and this is hundreds of pounds worth of sod.
So Mr. Magazine goes, well, I'll help you. So we went out there, and Mr. Magazine starts trying to shovel the stuff, and it doesn't work. Finally, I said, I think we just got to lift it and throw it. So we're reaching down, hands all dirty, just grabbing handfuls of sod and throwing it off the out of the parking lot. But we ended up salvaging the spot, and now you can park in it.
And I'm like, we're like upper management. Why are we doing this?
It's got to get done.
Part of the job.
It's got to get done. That's just what you do.
We could end it with that. That's a good one. You sure? You want me to go with mine? Am I rambling?
Yeah, go with your rambling. We got a couple minutes.
We've been sitting on this one for
a
couple months now.
How would that have worked?
I don't know. I've never owned one. So I've either shoveled or paid someone to plow. But all right, so this is going back a couple months. We're going to tell the story of my younger son getting an iPhone. Okay. So me and my older son got one 6 months ago, and my younger son and my wife were out of town. And my younger son's been bugging me since he turned 16. I've been putting it off. I'm like, your mother wants to go. She wants to go, but she never goes. So one day she was away. I go, let's just get it over with. So the Verizon is literally 1 minute from our house. And my younger son goes, well, I got to transfer everything from the cloud over, but I don't have enough cloud memory. So I said, well, why don't you upgrade your cloud memory, transfer it, and then we'll just cancel the cloud memory. Okay. Well, for some reason, it wouldn't all transfer over. So we get to the store for the new iPhone, which I think is the 15 at the time. We all got 15s. I think 16s out, but he ended up getting the 16. But anyways, make a long story short, the people at Verizon did not want to sell us a phone, basically. We either had to get a new phone number and it would have been $500 cheaper, which he didn't want to do because he's got lots of friends and whatever. He's a teenager, whatever. So then we talked about the cloud issue. I go, can you transfer everything over? And, we got this cloud problem. It's not all over. She goes, no, we can't do that. You're gonna have to go buy one at the Apple store, which is about 30 minutes away. And we were gonna go there anyways to eat at that sushi place. So I go, all right, fine. But they said you have to call the store first, order and pay for it, and then you go pick it up. I go, great. So we call, we order, we pay for it. We're going to go pick it up. Well, we didn't know at the time. We weren't calling really the iPhone store or the Apple store. It was some Apple phone number that set it up online at the Apple store directly. So we get there. Nightmare begins. My phone says we paid for it, $1,500. And my phone says they have it in stock, ready to give it to me.
Okay.
But there has to be communication from wherever Apple headquarters is that I called, that I didn't know I was calling, to the Apple store to give me the phone. And now it's like 8 o'clock and whatever time it is. We got about 30 minutes before they close. And now I'm getting upset.
Were they playing the Semisonic song, Closing Time?
No, but I don't want to come back. I go, this is a whole process. You just got to call this number. I go, can't you call the number? I go, we've already paid for it. I'm showing, why am I calling? You call the number. You talk to them. Maybe you got some poll. Get it over before we
or maybe you know the right words to say or something.
Yeah. Call the number. Now I'm waiting on the phone. And I just, my blood's starting to boil. And I told the guy, I go, I'm going to start raising my voice. And I go, I get like this. I can't help it, but this is ridiculous. And they go, we have it. We have your phone in the back. We just can't release it.
Want your phone?
Yeah,
Want your phone?
So, and then they said like, well, if it goes past 8 o'clock, whatever closing time, might've been 9, whatever. We can go 10 minutes past. I go, well, what if it's 15 minutes? I don't know what it's going to be. So I talked to the lady. She goes, yep, you paid for it. You're all set on our hand. I go, can you tell them? And she told them, and they go, we still can't do it. So now she's got to talk to someone that has to release this. And then I'm thinking like, now we got to transfer. We got a transfer problem and all this. And I almost walked out of the store. And then they wanted to sell me another, or the Apple store wanted to sell me another one and cancel that one. I go, there's no way this is going to happen in 20 minutes. There's no way. So make a long story short, it ended up right about closing time. He got the phone and they were able to transfer it like 10 minutes later. But and my son has OCD and he was getting nervous and he saw me getting nervous and it wasn't fun. But I actually saw a longtime customer in there. So we were cracking jokes for a little bit, but it was just a complete nightmare. And I hope I don't have to do that again. I'm telling my wife, you just go handle it. I'll pay for it. Here's the credit card. Just
my solution?
Use another Samsung.
I'm an Android. Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's see what other people are saying. At the beach, going to try to find some thrift or antique places on the way home. There you go.
Good stuff.
Transfer the existing number to a Google Voice, $30 forever, and then get a new number for the old phone.
Oh, okay. I can explain that to my son.
And there you go.
There you go. Yeah. All right.
All right.
I'll tell my wife to do that because she still has yet to get a new phone and save me $1,500. Thank you.
All right, everybody. Fun show tonight. Short show tonight. Next week, we got consignment chats. So it'll be a very, very fun show next week. Love when they're on.
Yeah.
Do hit the like button, everybody. And we will see you next video.
Take care. Bye-bye.